I finally got to use Frieren and see how strong this character truly is. Thanks to the man Luxu for allowing me to use his Frieren in this video. Greatly appreciated, even if you are British. Her main passive is her defense ignore passive. She has a really strong skill that's able to cleanse a damage res debuff on an ally. I know it says random, but you can kind of manipulate it a little bit if you're using a taunt tank. Thanks to certain bosses just only inflicting the taunt tank with the DR downs. So whenever that happens, this isn't really a random skill, this is just a single target damage res cleanse. Her art's giving stats up permanently to the entire team, which also acts as a heal, by the way. The true art is going to be a massive amount of art shin that you're able to give to the entire team. If you have 10,000 or more HP, very easy to achieve this. You're going to get even more art gauge. The super art is going to be a massive damage buff for light allies, and if anybody has 10,000 or more HP, they get even more damage up. Her slots aren't too bad. I do recommend that you go with her true weapon just because it's a DR down on the boss, helps the DPS quite a bit, and it also increases Frieren's max HP and art gauge. For the 5-star support, AoE art shin items, if you got the Holy Emblem, use it, my limbs close. Anything that's giving like stats up or anything like that is great here. 5-star magic, you can go with Exceeds X, Alma's Hat, a lot of good options. Mainly prioritize art shin above all else. Now, as for her crest slots, I will recommend that you guys go with a art gauge up here, and you can either opt in for some type of equipment CT buff, or I would even say a skill CT buff wouldn't be too bad. I know it's kind of weird because we never ever use skill CT, but this time around we are. Now, when it came to team building with Frieren, there's a lot of things that we wanted to do, but the main thing that I really wanted to try out was actually using her with a mono light composition. Unfortunately, on global right now, we don't have the full power of mono light, but this team will be more than enough. We're also going to be fighting Velzard here. If you're wondering why we're using Mako instead of like someone else, it's because of that. We need a little bit of healing. As for how to play Frieren, I think it's fairly simple. You instantly get the true art going, get the art gauge to everybody. Once you have the art gauge going on everyone, start using that art and weave it in between using your art and true art. That art's going to give that huge stats up to everyone. If your allies weren't at 10,000 HP or more, they will be now. You kind of keep that rotation going, just the art and true art, and then you only pop off with your super art whenever you just want a big burst of damage. It doesn't matter when you use it, you can use it literally whenever, and you'll see on a team like this where we have Mako, we have Kenshin, we're having so much art shin on the team that we're able to pretty much throw this in whenever. And by the way, everyone here actually has a different art shin type. And this character is such a great addition to Mono Light, especially with Hero Saitama on the team. Hero Saitama loves having more stats, specifically attack stat, and we're able to get 200% attack up with Kenshin alone, but then we get an additional 60% all stats thanks to Frieren. Saitama's hitting ridiculous damage, and you'll see whenever we get to the detail screen, it's very nutty, but this truly is a team that just kind of breezes through everything, and the fact that it's not at full power yet is kind of ridiculous. Once Frieren is able to be utilized alongside like Young Emperor, the magical index units, you're going to see some crazy team comps come out. I'm also very curious about when we're going to see like just a passive AoE crit buff to the entire team. If we have defense ignore, the crit buff one has to be coming soon, right? But as you see here, Frieren's doing great. She's art shinning, she's keeping the team very topped up. To be honest, it really seems like we didn't even need Mako, but Mako's just there because we're getting that continuous damage, so might as well have something. And we're not even at full stacks with Frieren. We're only at 4 stacks right now. But due to the amount of attack up we have and all the additional stats, the attack down that Velzard's actually supposed to be doing in this fight is kind of just useless. Now, there is a misplay I did, and it was right here at the end whenever he was doing the nuke. If I wanted everyone to survive, I think I could have just waited with Fina Devil Wings and spammed Frieren's art, and more than likely everyone would survive, because as you saw, Frieren had more than enough HP to tank Velzard's in nuke, which was something that I was wondering about. Was, is it possible that you could just have so much HP and just a bit of DR that you're just going to be able to actually face tank certain attacks now? We check the detail screen out though, and you see that Saitama is hitting for a insane amount of damage. Frieren not doing too bad either. Everyone else doing their thing, and just an incredible showing from Mono Light with the addition of Frieren on the team. Dark Light Dragon inflicts you with tons of damage res downs, and if you guys have used Kirisame in this fight before, you may have noticed that it's kind of hard to keep up with it. Kirisame can cleanse up to 2 damage res debuffs with his super art as long as he's in third eye. The problem is that Uga gives you way too many DR downs. every single time that we use the skill. And by the way, the cleanse is instantaneous, as you see here. As for the rest of the team here, we're using another kind of mono light setup. We got Star God, which is great because she's going to be our poison type character against this fight. Emperor's here because I just thought he would be a good character to show off his damage as well. But same kind of game plan here. We're going to be using our art, going to be using our true art, kind of weaving it in when we can. We're going to be using our super art whenever we want to, and just kind of keeping that gameplay loop going. One thing that I will highly recommend you guys do is just don't press the skill, or if you're using auto AI, try to set up the auto AI to where I don't actually know if you can set it up to only target or only be used when a damage res is happening, but if you can, set it to that, because there's really no reason to use Frieren's skill unless that is happening. But yeah, there's truly not much else to say here when it comes to the positives of Frieren. Great art shit all around. We're having great damage overall. Stats are insane on this team, as you see here. And it's ridiculous because we're not even using like 10 cane and stuff like that to buff up our stats even more. So if you were using stuff like that, I could see you hitting like above 20k HP on a lot of different light characters. Not to mention, if you have like characters that have passive max HP buffs, that could be very beneficial as well, just to have tons and tons of stats. Because like I said, I think building towards like DR and having just tons of max HP could be a viable strategy where you're able to just face tank certain attacks in the game. As here though, Uga pretty much falls no problem whatsoever. Let me show you a run though where Frieren definitely got pushed pretty much to the limit. And that is against BF Emperor. BF Emperor is an extremely challenging fight for so many characters in this game. And unfortunately, this is where Frieren is going to struggle the most. Against any kind of fight where you are constantly getting your HP tick down, it is almost impossible for Frieren to really be able to hold her own because her defense ignore gets turned off. Her buffed up art shin is just non-existent. Her art, even though it is really good, since it's only permanently increasing stats, it's not able to be spammed and constantly heal the team. Once you hit the max stacks of the art, you no longer get like the HP heal like how you would on someone like Demon Lord Vox with his 60% stats up. So in a situation like this, we probably should have opted in for some type of healer, but then if we opted in for some type of healer, we would have to take off one of our breaking characters, and we need to break Emperor to even be able to do any kind of damage to him. And yeah, it's definitely going to be very challenging in certain fights where you have a continuous damage debuff on you. That's where you're going to have to use some kind of healer with her. Overall though, I'm personally extremely positive on Frieren. That one little negative of, oh, she's not good against like certain continuous damage fights, or like she's not that good whenever your HP gets dropped too much and you lose out on the passive as well. She's still incredible. I think that she gets even better if you have the stat up equips that you're able to use on her, like Smart Skirt, Headdress, all these different items that can just buff up your max HP or stats. That stuff will make or break a lot of your team comps. On Mono Light, she's incredible. One of the best light support units in the entire game. Outside of Mono Light, still fantastic. If you got this character and you were lacking on art shinners, hey man, look no further, you are in good hands. If you're a new player, same thing, bro. You got a support pillar for your account. You are going to be a-okay in the support department for a very long time. Either way though, fam, tell me down below, what do you guys feel about Frieren? Do you like her? Do you hate her? And what's the deal with her? I love this character, and to be honest, if we get Fern or Yubel pretty quick in the live stream summons that we're going to be doing in a few days, we may switch back to the original banner and try our damnedest to get Frieren. But we'll have to see what happens. Maybe we have it in the heart of cards, maybe we don't. Either way though, fam, thank you all so much again, and last but not least, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.